So I would like to give the floor to each of our panelists. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing with young women and girls right now, and then we'll flow into a discussion. Cheryl, you want to start? Start us off, please.
Thank you very much. So my name is Cheryl Robinson, and I am from Wisconsin. And I am here today as I am a volunteer with Girl Scouts and have been a volunteer for 25 years and have a real passion for our girls, especially our middle school and our high school Girl Scouts. And one of the focuses that I have is that I work with those girls on the Girl Scout Gold Award. And an outgrowth of that is that I actually created a podcast called Hearts of Gold in order to promote and feature those girls. So every episode features a different girl speaking about her Gold Award project. And I just think that those girls are our future, and they are so important and completely fit into the goal of this program today.
We've got people all over the world watching us, tuning in now from Zurich, from Germany, from Paris. This is so brilliant, and especially we'd love to hear more about your podcast in a few minutes as we dive into this conversation. I'm going to switch the floor to Dina Patton. We've collaborated multiple times. We were actually together 4 years ago for International Women's Day in Los Angeles, and now full circle, we're back here in the same celebrations. Just seems to be our thing. And she has an amazing initiative that I want to share with all of you that's also gone global. I thought it would be so great for her to share what she's developed since I last saw her in Los Angeles, and just flow into it. Dina, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Dina Patton from Phoenix, Arizona. I own Dina Patton Coaching and Training, where I work with women leaders and CEOs, and really passionate about advancing women and girls in the world, and really realized through that work that we can't just focus on women. We have to empower and educate and advance girls. So 10 years ago, I started the Girls Rule Foundation, and we focus on three main skill sets: self-esteem skills, leadership skills, and financial literacy skills. And when I saw you, we only had 3 programs, and which have been brilliant and amazing and transform girls' lives. But we really realized that, like anything, you're limited when you have live workshops, live camps, live programs with people in the room. And we knew we had to digitize it. And so girls all over the world could have this curriculum. So we worked 2 years on what we call Dreamlab. And it is a 12-week curriculum, plug and play, leadership, powerful program that anyone in the world can buy on our website and literally start with their group tomorrow. So that's our new program. We launched it literally months before COVID hit. So we're very grateful that it was out in the world before that, because it is our only program at the moment. So super excited to share more about it.
Wonderful. Awesome. And Sean Lynham, you're with Girls Rule Foundation, and she kicked us off on the very first day at the Women and Space Exploration session, our opening session, and has been involved with Girls Rule. Would love to hear your thoughts on what you think about investing in girls and your perspective.
So yes, I'm Sean Lynham, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Qualtech. And Qualtech, my background is space operations. So I worked at NASA training astronauts and training flight controllers for space station and space shuttle. And now have my own company where we specialize in mission control. I have had a passion for girls in particular because I am one and because I have 2 daughters. And, self-esteem and confidence is something that I really struggled with growing up in school, in my career. And I did get involved with Dina and Girls Rule a number of years ago. I was her STEM director, and just really loved the message that she has not just for encouraging girls in STEM, which was a passion of mine, but encouraging them from the confidence and the self-esteem and the leadership skills, and really building those leadership skills. I think that we tend to still assume those roles for boys and don't focus on it as much for girls. And so really love the message that Dina has out there. Most of what I have done over the years, is speak in schools. I was a Girl Scout leader for a number of years, trying to work with girls that way, and then got involved with Dina after Girl Scouts. I speak in colleges, not just to girls, boys too, but I feel like my message is stronger for girls, and to give them a role model to help show them that if I could do it, they can do it, because it doesn't take, I'm not special, I'm not smarter than anyone else, really am a believer in building those confidence and leadership skills in girls and women.
Absolutely. And Mara, we just had your session when it comes to finance. So we're looking at all different aspects: leadership, courage, and confidence. And with Mara, she's really focused on financial literacy for girls. And I've been following her work for years now, and started with an amazing financial literacy for women, and then evolved into financial literacy for girls. So please tell us a little bit about your work and where you are and where you're headed.
My channel. So yes, 21 years in finance, and focusing on why the wealth management industry has done such a lousy job in the past of embracing women's needs, giving them a seat at the table, but also as clients, and catering to their needs. All of that led me to do a lot of work on how can we increase female financial participation so that women feel like engaging in financial matters. Some of the research we did was actually quite shocking, because it shows that millennials delegate long-term financial matters to their partners even more than the generation before them did. So we're kind of going backwards instead of forwards. And for me, reality hit home when I came across research that shows that pay gaps actually start with pocket money. And why was I so shocked? Because we put out a simulation, because one day I asked the Chief Investment Office, I said, look, if I'm a professional woman and I have a pay gap, how much less money do I end up with? Right? Can you simulate that? Life of a man, life of a woman, 10% pay gap. And the answer was roughly 40% less wealth. And so realizing that these pay gaps have got so much influence on a woman's wealth creation, and realizing that pay gaps actually are visible in pocket money. Girls by the age of 10 get 10 to 20, 30% less than the boys. I wanted to fix that, because I said, if the girls don't even know there is such thing as a pay gap, what is the likelihood that, like us, they're all going to go to school, they're all going to be smart, they're all going to work hard, they think they're equal to the boys, and they wake up at the age of 35 and they're like, damn, that didn't quite work the way I hoped it would. So I wrote the first book, which was Smart Way to Start, all about money, earning your pennies, and equal pay. Why would a boy get a penny more than a girl for the same job? And my aha moment was when I had my daughter proofread it. She was 12. She looked at me and she said, Mum, this story's so cute, but I don't see the point. Why would a girl earn less than a boy? And that was when I realized, okay, we need to get this message out there, because the girls are just oblivious to it. You're on mute, Anna.
Mute.
I've been doing this all day. So my little one, I've had conversations about money. She's quite savvy. She's keeping track of bills, and she knows what I owe and things like that. But when it really hit me was we were traveling to a blockchain for impact conference, and she said, Mama, what are you working on? And I said, I'm building a digital wallet for women. And then she's like, what is that? And I said, Arya, it's how money is going to be used in the future. And she said, I want to take a look at this. And she went on YouTube and she said, this is so confusing. I don't understand any of this. They need to make videos for kids. And I actually took her to a session with me, and it was on Bitcoin basically. And I said, Arya, what is this? You know, he's been speaking for 90 minutes. And at the end, she said, it's digital money. I can buy things from Amazon and they'll ship it to your door. That's all it is. Like, it's just a new form of currency. So these children, you know, they're used to playing with Roblox. They're used to playing with digital games, video games, whatnot. It's a different type of financial literacy, but they're still thinking, right? It's like, it's that currency, whether it's hard money or digital money. It's the whole new generation right now with all of our children. I don't know if you've been seeing that with kids that have been homeschooling, but Roblox is a huge sensation now. And it's very interesting how girls are getting into this, starting their own, they become entrepreneurs, like little, Dina, your daughter started business, right? During this COVID time. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter's 12 and, you know, all she's known is me and my own businesses. I've worked for myself for 24 years. So, you know, we're last June when all camps, all schools, all friends went away. She's like, Mom, I am broke and I am bored. And it just opened up a dialogue of what can I do? And I said, let's make a list of all the things you do well, you know, that you could either teach or make or whatnot. And long story short, we have made this granola for years and years that is awesome. And I said, why don't we start a granola business? And she actually, 2 of her summer camps that she's gone to were baking camps. And she's a precision person. And I said, that's it. And her first week open, she made $1,000. And it has been now 2 months that we've been open or 3 months. And, you know, she has learned how to sell. She knows P&L. She knows revenue. Every Sunday we sit down and do the books and she counts out her profit. And, you know, she's a 12-year-old that's making it, you know, on a slow week, 300, on a good week, 1,000, and selling something that she's, you know, good at, which is really good granola. And she learned packaging and shipping. And we ship all over the country. So I think it's really key she's also an artist. And so we were thinking about her making her art and selling it on Etsy. But I think you start with your children at an easy level. You know, what can you do now that you're good at that can make money other people will pay for? And that's a concept and it's a mindset. And that's what got us thinking. And we had a list of 5 or 6 things. And we really just thought about what's going to be more sustainable out of all of them. And I think that's the conversation, especially girls. You know, she likes making money and having her own money. And it was a real learning curve to teach her the costs and doing a P&L and what her profit is. And she has her own bank account now. And it started with her. I'll tell you this is sometimes girls or kids don't understand business, but they do understand what they want. And she wants a car. And at 16, she knows she has 3 years and she wants a car. So we did the back math and she realized she has to save $175 per month between now and 16. And so she could buy a car. And so that was a motivator. And that was like very black and white so that she could understand, I get it. $175 a month and I'm at my goal and I'm buying that car. And that is what works.
Amazing. Amazing. So we're going to hear awesome stories and I have some special treats for you guys and they've just joined. All of this goes to show you that, you know, in COVID times, we focus on, a lot of people have been focusing on the negatives, but this has really pushed us in so many ways. It's pushed our girls in so many ways. They're just becoming more digitally savvy, digitally confident, number one. And it's actually pushing the mothers to a different degree as well. And like you, Dina, I'm not surprised. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You've probably heard this. It's your daughter after all. So I would have expected nothing different. And you started Girls Rule how long ago? Tell us real quick. Yeah, so it was literally, her daughter's grown up with this and she's seen all of this. Mara, how old is your daughter?
15.
And when did you
quite awakened that entrepreneurial streak yet? But she wants to become a molecular biologist, so I thought that's pretty good going too.
That's great. No, it's like it's ultimately like it's the role modeling, and she's going to be successful whatever she does. Cheryl, do you have any daughters? Yes. Cheryl, can you hear us? Yes. You're on mute, love. You can hear us, but you're on mute. Cheryl, can you hear us?
I lost my mouse. Sorry.
Oh.
Yes, I have a 27-year-old daughter, and I have a 5-week-old granddaughter.
Okay, amazing, awesome. And are they in financial literacy or anything related, or no?
No, I am a CFO, but my daughter went into nursing instead. So
okay, amazing. So yeah, and Sean, you've got daughters too, right?
I have 2 daughters. They're 22 and 20. So my oldest is about to graduate with a biomedical engineering degree, and she is going to pursue her PhD in biomedical engineering. But what's very exciting is she called me, in fact, literally today, all excited about one of the interviews that she had with a couple of professors at one of the universities. And she said, "Oh my gosh, Mom, this is a powerhouse couple, the man and the woman. And not only are they professors in research, but they have started multiple businesses. And that's what I want to do. I want to be a top scientist as well as have my own business." So, and then I have a little brag. On Monday, she sent me a text that said, "Happy International Women's Day. I'm so happy to have my very own role model in a mom." So that was exciting as well.
Love that. That's beautiful. This has been honestly like in my mind, it's been an epic International Women's Day. It's like nothing made it more international than having all of you with us from all over the world. And Dominique and I met in Dubai through a mutual friend a couple of years ago. And it turns out that she and Dr. Mara Harvey worked closely together. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to be at your session. I just heard about your event." And we haven't connected in like years. And so I'm like super curious to see like how you're involved with this space. Yeah, please tell us. Jump in. Can you hear us okay?
Okay, so I'm sorry that I was, first of all, somehow I'm sorry that I was late, and I'm sorry that I missed the beginning because I don't know exactly if I may repeat some things. But just loving the topic and loving, Anna, that you started this, and I'm a big fan of Mara indeed. And thank you for sharing. I heard just some bits, but I heard the rest in my heart. So, for me, I think it was, and maybe it's not relevant and it's a very humble level, but when I started my business, I just realized how there are so many aspects I did not even know about yet. I went to school, you always think you did all of that, but the money conversation was not a big one at home. My dad is a doctor, so starting your own business and having, let's say, financial world was a pretty fun journey. And this is when I just realized, I had amazing women and men actually supporting me a lot, even just knowing how to invoice, even just knowing how to go to any client or go even to some friends and not pretend I know it, but say, okay, how do you actually start? Where do you take your last salary and you just try and find out how much then it is, if it's per hour or all of that. And it was thanks to people around me and the inputs that I learned the most from more than any school. And I was very lucky in Switzerland to go to good schools, and the hotel school was a brilliant one as well. So that's why your platform, I think, being able to communicate and just say that there is no shame in asking or talking about money, I think is very crucial, so that especially for young girls or even women at any age, they don't feel it is a taboo topic. And I have a great example when I was working with the great, I can say names, I guess, for Chopin, and working with Caroline Schäufele. I wanted a raise of salary. And this was so funny because I was going around and saying, how can I even ask? Like I had this feeling I'm not really allowed to. And if they didn't give it to me, that means, I can't really ask for it, or all this type of stigma, or probably not shame, but lack of confidence that we, I guess, as girls or women, we probably have. And then feel she was very good at this because she waited for me to go. And when I finally did, and she answered in a super rough way, like, what do you think I will answer? And I'm like, oh God, I should not have asked. Oh God, she will say no. And then she laughed and she said, of course. And she said, I'm so happy that you finally asked. She said, Ando, what you don't ask, you don't get. And this was my best advice. I mean, that I kept. This was obviously my first job, and I was, 22. Sorry, I'm 40 now, but it was the best advice. So I think I'm just happy to share that. I don't know if it helps or not in any way, but it was talking and communicating and asking for things. I think is key.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. We have one more. Isla, you and I met at the World Economic Forum last year, and we knew right away that we are all committed to the same space. I was just hearing some of your comments in the previous thread about why it's important to invest in girls, because they're ultimately going to be the ones investing in other women. So why don't you follow up on that thread, and we'll have you say a few words. I'm gonna go off stage for a minute so that I can get you on screen. So I'll be right back. I'll be here, but go ahead, jump in.
Sure. Thanks, Anu. Yeah, absolutely. So I was saying, why is money important? Money is freedom, money is power, and money is change. And I think that is just such an important thing for girls to know, but ultimately as their role models, as their mothers, as their fathers, to also be living, because that's what we're ultimately modeling and teaching. And so I was really excited now about Dena's example with her daughter. And it's something that's just I've observed over the last few years, speaking to women who have done amazing things in entrepreneurship, gone public on the stock exchange and done it multiple times. And there seems to be a common thread that a lot of them had fathers that were entrepreneurs themselves. And I say fathers because I think in the previous generation, it was relatively uncommon for that to be the woman. So often it was fathers. And in our generation, and I don't have children myself yet, but talking to all the mothers out there and the fathers, I think it's just incredibly important to be thinking about, what are the things that that I would like my daughter to be living in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of understanding something. And one thing that really sticks out to me lately is, for example, blockchain and decentralized finance. And that's this huge topic that is genuinely disrupting many industries and has the potential to do so much more. And yet so few women are in that space and so few women are embracing it. And so there's a million things that I could talk about, but I think that's something that I wanted to highlight is our role as role models for young girls now to be educating ourselves about these things and how they might change the world, and encouraging our daughters, sons to actually get into that and start experimenting themselves so that they understand it. And that also brings me back to something that I experienced when I was working with Mara on financial education topics, is that confidence comes from experience, largely. It's awareness as well, and it's a little bit of education in terms of understanding the basics. But ultimately, you get confidence when you try things out. And so that would probably just be my message right now is everyone out there, start trying stuff out with the blockchain. even if it's, not a financial investment, but just as a social experiment, try and understand cryptos and put a little bit of money, or, experiment with having your girls get their pocket money in crypto, and just, anything that you can think of, because this is going to change the world. And your girls should be just up there with the boys, changing the world of finance, changing the world of supply chain traceability, changing the world of Industry 4.0, just all of these things. They should be there too. So that would be my message.
Awesome. So I love that message. And because you got us going in that direction of women learning about, girls learning about finance, especially crypto. This is my thing. And Arya started Crypto for Kids. So you have no idea how much we love this conversation in our home. Daria's joined us, and she had a little trouble getting in, but she is here now. She's from Los Angeles, and she has a program where they're teaching girls about venture capital. So Daria, can you just jump in and tell us a little bit? I know. So can you please tell us a little bit about the structure of your program and how long it's been running and how people can get more information?
Thank you, Anu. It's a pleasure to connect with all of you here. We run a program for girls in training them how to think about capital allocation as a key element of creating equity for women. And so there are many programs, there are many programs that offer education on how to become entrepreneurs to girls in the 6th to 12th grade. Our program focuses on taking girls in that time period. We have an application process that starts in the spring. Girls apply, we select them, we call them junior judges. They come to a fast pitch competition in October and they select a winner. But through the summer, they learn about how to assess business plans, how to look at financials. They meet with women CEOs and discuss how you can look at businesses as investments. So the key thing there is that women as capital allocators, that process is just as exciting and necessary as women entrepreneurs.
Fascinating. This is truly. I know of one other program, Seema Hingorani. There's one in the East Coast in New York. I think she started it there. Became really successful. It took off probably 2-3 years ago. I'm super curious. I want to jump back to Cheryl real quick. If you can unmute yourself, Cheryl. Girl Scouts has a STEM badge. Doesn't it have like some kind of like robotics or STEM?
Yeah, we have over 100 STEM badges.
Whoa. Okay. I didn't think there were that many, but tell us a little bit about anything around investing. Do they have anything around? Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. So we also have a financial literacy badge series. And so Girl Scouts has 6 different levels. And each level, the badges add on to what girls have learned before. They can always start at a new level, but the goal is that they add on to the levels before. So as a Daisy, which is kindergarten and first grade, maybe we're doing is teaching them about, if we give you $1, you should really try and put this much in savings. You can spend this much and donate this much, right? Like maybe we do the very basics like that. And by the time they get to high school, which are our seniors, Girl Scout seniors and Girl Scout ambassadors, we're teaching them about about financing and how to make sure to pay for their college educations if that's what they're interested in, or other much higher levels than that. As you know, Girl Scouts also has the cookie program. I happened to, this morning before I got on this call, I just got a whole semi-truck full of cookies delivered. So I have a garage full of cookies right now because our council is getting ready to kick off their cookie season. And that is the state's largest entrepreneurship program for girls. We teach them the financial literacy because they're working with money and selling the cookies. We teach them goal setting because Each council is different, but we have different prizes. And so the girls decide what they want to earn, and that's how many cookies they have to sell. Within the troops will have conversations because troops get a portion of the cookie sales, and that often funds all the different programs that troop is doing during the year. So, we even build it into our day-to-day work with the girls.
Awesome. So that Girl Scouts has been an evolution. So when Aria was really little, we were too busy, and now she's too cool, or you just have to get them at the right spot. But I did one of our board members, Erica Brechtel, her daughter joined. She got into the STEM track, and she's like, I love science, and now she's in a girls' school for science and tech. And I just spoke at it last Friday, and they have astronauts coming in and just really incredible role models there. So I think, with all of these initiatives that are going on, it's great to see the range, and, each of you, I've connected with you at different points in time, and it's great to see how we can all collaborate and showcase what's actually going on, whether it's a podcast. By the way, Cheryl, we launched the State of Women Podcast Network, and it has 300 podcasts from women around the world, English, Spanish, and Chinese. And we're now on Android and iOS, and we're about to launch a third app. And this third app is on a new platform called Kaios that works on $10 mobile phones, reaching the bottom billion. So these girls that are in poor countries, any stories that you have that you might want to share, any role models, that you might want to bring on your existing podcast, we can then share it with those girls. So I'd love to talk to you about this after, but it's a way for girls to connect with other girls if you have them as hosts or whatnot. State of Women Institute had produced our own podcast series called Women Investing in Women and Girls. Dina, I think you were a guest on this show a long time ago, when Michelle Jaffe was our co-host back in the day. And all of my girls were co-hosts at our former State of Women summits. And so they came. One got into the Wharton School of Business, almost full scholarship. She's watching right now. Another one spoke yesterday. If you attended the refugee session, and then we had another one that is now working on an initiative on sports and whatnot. But it's peer-to-peer. They all work together. They all collaborate with one another. And so any ways that you guys can collaborate, or, if we can connect the dots, would be fantastic, because, we've got initiatives in Germany and Switzerland that are curious about what you guys are doing. Okay, so our European, and I knew this was going to happen, Dina. So Mara just dropped off. She had to go to the doctor earlier today, so she really pushed as far as she could. We had our session with Europe. Ando had technical issues earlier today. Are you in Switzerland as well? Yes, right now. Are you in Switzerland?
I am. I'm going back to Dubai end of the month.
Okay, yeah. So all of our troopers that are in Europe right now, they're in it's getting to the point where they're all turning into wallflowers. Most of them. I mean, some of them are pushing forward. So we're getting close to our final session in about 15 minutes. Are there any questions from the audience right now? Are there any questions from people that we should ask our panelists? I saw some dialogues on where they can find out more information about the Venture Capital Initiative. And I don't know if you typed that in. Where did Daria go? There you are. You're right here. The squares keep moving. And Dina, if you could also please type in information on Girls Rule and how they can access Dreamlab. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about Dreamlab and how that works for a few minutes.
Yeah. Well, and also I just want to address, just the fundamental in the last 10 years of working with thousands of girls, the financial literacy, getting girls empowered around money. It starts with their belief in their value and their worth and that self-esteem work. You can take someone who's wicked smart and put them in college, but if they don't have the confidence and self-esteem, they're not going to make it. or in, we don't outsmart our mindset. And so I want to just emphasize that we can start at home with the financial literacy, getting our girls comfortable around talking about money, managing money, saving money, investing money, spending money wise. All of those things we can do at home. But also the self-esteem of their value and their worth. It's so, so important. And Sean has an amazing story. I think all of us have amazing stories where we have great opportunities in front of us, but our self-esteem says you can't do it, or you're not worth it, or you're the wrong color, or you come from the wrong family. And that self-esteem gets in the way of the great investment or the great business idea, and they just lose the confidence. So I just want to emphasize financial literacy and self-esteem. It's really important, which is what Dreamlab is. It's a plug and play 12-week program. Anybody can do. It's $269 on our website, and it's all the curriculum that you need for your group of girls. And you can have five girls or up. Minimum amount of girls is 5, and all the way up. And it is a powerful leadership program that girls lead, and obviously the girls participate in. But what's really, I think, another point I want to make is, all these programs and the education we can get into girls, but we've got to have opportunities for them to actually lead, them to actually make financial decisions. So yes, the education is really important, but we've got to think about what are the platforms and the opportunities, whether it's an internship at your business, or it's a scholarship program at your business, or all the different ways that how can we start giving girls more opportunities and more platforms to actually practice their leadership, practice their financial literacy, and get education and empowerment is a big part, but moving them to actually giving them opportunities and experience. So Dreamlabs is on our website, girlsrulefoundation.org. And you can literally buy it, download it, and start a Dream Lab with your group of girls. And that's what we found. We found that a lot of people have groups of girls, whether it's 5 or 20 or 40. They have the girls, but they don't have the powerful curriculum that they need. So we wanted a curriculum that was easy, accessible, affordable, and powerful. So you can buy it. Or if you want to sponsor one, you can donate $269, and we have a list of Title I schools that are waiting for Dreamlabs, and we will sponsor a Dreamlab in your name. So super easy, all on our website, Girls
there you go.
Rule Foundation.
So again, more investing in girls, and they have gone digital, they have gone global, and yeah, absolutely. So it's okay, great. That's awesome. Daria's writing a message. Love the Dreamlabs idea, and we'll look at it exactly on making decisions to allocate capital. That is why for Women Founders Network, we allow the girls to allocate $5,000 in capital to a startup business that they select as part of our fast pitch process at Women Founders Foundation. So that's actually cool, because
that's
you've
awesome.
got, them as part of the investment process, almost like an investment committee, right?
That's amazing.
Powered by girls. Awesome. I've seen something similar like that for getting, I think it was Built by Girls, Susan Line in New York, and Nisha Dua. So they were getting girls involved originally in selecting tech because it was built by girls, and I don't know if they're still doing that anymore. Do you know anything about that, Daria, about Built by Girls, BBG?
I knew about it, and I know Susan. I don't know if they're still doing that.
Okay, yeah, that was like one of the early, just like girls who invest. I think it's called Girls Invest.
Yeah, Seema is at Morgan Stanley now.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I knew she transitioned out of it, so I didn't know where she went, but no surprise, you guys are all like one big posse now. So this is awesome. As you can see, like this is cross-border, whether you're in Europe, whether we're here, and I couldn't bring anyone from Asia, but I do know that there's a lot of initiatives for getting children engaged and just talking about the whole money conversation and so on and so forth. We'll start to highlight that in the future. This has been fantastic, just bringing you all with us here today. Any final comments, Isla? Please.
Yeah, honestly, one thing that's occurred to me as we've been having this discussion is DAOs, and how we could actually have girls, just, amazing what Dina is doing with Dreamlab, how we could have actually girls setting up their own decentralized autonomous organizations on the blockchain. There are platforms out there where they're relatively easy to set up, and they could actually have the experience of running their own organization. And I don't mean, is Meta Gamma Delta doing that? I know.
So I'm part of this blockchain sorority. It started off as a blockchain sorority. So what they did is, it was a woman that I met from Brazil, and she was with UBS, just like Mara was. So she was with UBS, and she was in banking, and she's like, we need to have this, our own DAO. And so they created Meta Gamma Delta, and so it's global. We had some speakers on Monday. It was all blockchain and cryptocurrency on Monday. After Sean's session, we just kind of hijacked the afternoon, and we had some artificial intelligence. But ultimately, that afternoon, we had Meta Gamma Delta people come, and they were talking about, what is a DAO? How do you get involved in a DAO? A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. You set it up, you make the rules. Ultimately, banks and financial institutions make the rules, but the DAO, you can actually set up your own rules. And it's not that easy. It's quite like the voting and everything. You just have to stay on top of it, and you're really in charge of like how money works. But yeah, starting with girls, like I am part of the DAO, and I still get these reminders like, vote, vote, vote. And, it's tricky for me, and I'm into blockchain, I'm into crypto, and I say this candidly. It is very tricky, but I agree. I mean, the sooner you do it, great. There is a game, a new blockchain game. I don't know if it's blockchain game per se, but it's a voting game, and kick off like people off this space shuttle. I don't know if your daughter's playing this game, Dina. It's called Among Us. So Roblox is another blockchain game. It's all crypto. It's like you're buying non-fungible tokens, little animals, and like my kid would be basically say, "Can I have some money so I can go buy this?" But she's basically buying crypto. Like that's basically what they're doing, is like tricking their brains or something. They don't know what a DAO is, but they're voting people off. It's like, how do we do this together, and how do we vote someone off? So I think this whole socialization is happening before our very eyes. We just don't know what it is, right? And they're all sitting in their room playing with their friends on Zoom or whatever they're doing. We just don't know, but they're now becoming socialized. So it's happening. It's just not called DAO. It's called something else. It's not called crypto. It's called Roblox. So just be mindful of that in this new trend. Any other final comments, ladies? STEM. So Dina had mentioned a comment, things that you might want to suggest, Sean, programs for girls thinking about space or getting into STEM that you would recommend.
Oh goodness, I should have prepped. It's been a while since I've had my list, but I think there's a number of organizations to follow that are interesting. Everybody, our kids all loved Bill Nye the Science Guy, so he's got the Planetary Society, which is my girls like to follow because they remember Bill Nye from when they were kids, so they love following his space endeavors. And then, I haven't looked at it recently, but for young girls, one company that I loved, if they're still around, I believe it was called Goldie Blocks, because one of the things that girls, when they don't see something that relates to them, they're not interested. So when all of the Legos or all of the blocks are designed around male desires, there's less interest. So that was a company that I loved for early start of girls. And but I really think that like I tried to encourage my girls on the robotics clubs at school, because I think that's a really great way to see, end to end, how you build something and control something. So you're doing hardware and software. And then I'll reiterate what Isla said earlier, was the confidence does come from doing it. And a lot of times girls are afraid to even get started. And so I know one thing I never allowed at my house was when my girls would come home and say, I can't do it. Like, you can do it. You might not like it. You might be afraid. It might be hard work. But, in particular with math or with computer programming or things like that. So I think that once you can get them off that blank page, or to take that first step, is really when they start to say, oh, I can do this.
Exactly. Cheryl, you want to add some comments?
Yeah. So, for example, with what Sean was just saying about how you have to take it at a lesser level, you can't just jump into it. One of the badges for, I can't remember what age group, but it's one of the elementary badges. They teach about computer networks. And the way that they teach about it is they use a ball of string, and they have the girls in a circle, and they pass the ball of string around. And then when the string, when it's all shared, then they start talking about how they're all connected and that's a network. And then they take that conversation and they move it into the internet and computer networks. Those are examples of how Girl Scouts works with their badges. I just want to say, I feel like I'm in like this whole sisterhood. One thing that I always tell the girls that I work with is that Girl Scouts doesn't need to be a standalone. Take all the other things that you're doing and add Girl Scouts into it. Just because what it'll do is it'll elevate, it'll expand, it builds that network, right? It builds that network. And so, for example, with STEM, we have a lot of girls that work with the Society of Women Engineers on their Gold Award projects. We have a lot of girls that have worked with NASA on their projects. It depends on, what the girl wants her project to be. Each project is unique. But I really encourage them to I always encourage them to base it on their interest, because the best projects are ones that the girls are passionate about. And so I just feel like I'm in a sisterhood, because I feel like there's all these other resources that we could then use and expand the knowledge for all of these girls and increase that confidence for them.
Absolutely. So we're doing podcasts. We do original podcast production. And now we've got distribution too with our own app. So we're going to share your podcast. And for the rest of you, if you have interest in doing podcasts, definitely talk to me after, and we'll see how we can share content. And there's a lot of there and educating them, even if they're overseas or whatnot. There's a lot of role modeling that's going on here. It is a sisterhood. It's like a massive sisterhood. It's 3 days of sisterhood. If this isn't that, I don't know what is. But everyone's all connected. We're all supportive. Anyone that showed up, right, and had the right spirit, that was like super, super flexible with just how we let people in and encourage people to speak up. Like, this is what it's all about. And your voices are so important, each one of you. I respect you so much. You've come into my life at different stages, and, it's like we all, I feel like, you start to see patterns. Like, there's so much commitment. There's so much momentum. There's so much love, support, compassion. And, we're now all about collaboration. So this is our year. And I want to thank you all again for being here. And if there's any final comments now, please say so. And then we're going to hop into the final session. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. So we're going to see you in 3 minutes. We're going to see you in the final session. Please go to the bathroom, whatever. And we had a special surprise for those of you that are listening and watching, the neuroscience of gratitude. Okay. Carlina Conrad is coming. She's going to do a guided meditation and close us all out. We've been blowing everyone's minds for the past 3 days, literally, like working on your hearts. So now we're just going to completely decompress and take it to another level. And she's going to talk about the neuroscience of how gratitude works and how we're all going to completely sustain what we've been co-creating for the past 3 days. So if you can stay with us, this is going to be super worth it. She's going to be dialing in from Spain. So she's in a different time zone, but staying up just to guide us through this and help us through the final moments. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.